Ladies and gentlemen, my name is James Scaresbrook, otherwise known as the Intrepid Wino, and it's another edition of Let's Taste. My guest on this week's episode of the Vincast, my podcast about wine, Australia's premier wine podcast, is Adrian Santolin, who not only produced these two bottles in front of me, but actually was kind enough to give me some wines to taste myself. So I'm very excited to actually open these up before the Vincast episode goes live. It's another great episode, talking here in the background and a story of Adrian and his wife ending up in the Yarra Valley Adrian's originally from the Griffith area in New South Wales, and so I thought I would crack these open, have a look at them. I've got two red wines. He does make a range of other wines. I had a look at his blend of white varieties. He calls it like an Alsace blend. That was beautiful, lovely and aromatic, but I've got two red wines here. Let's have a look at them. So the first one to look at is the Pinot Noir. It's from the Simon Yarra, otherwise known as the Thousand Candles Vineyard. It's where he actually made his start in 2012, the 2012 vintage. He bought some Pinot Noir from this vineyard and made his first Santolin wine. And so, I thought that this would be a good opportunity to have a look at 2014. So let's open it up and see what it's showing. Quite light in colour. It's got a lovely brightness to it, but it is it's not particularly thick and concentrated. Very much, in my opinion, it's a classic Yarra Valley Pinot Noir colour. 2014 was a very interesting vintage. Very classic, bright, intense Pinot Noir varietal character. Particularly from the Yarra Valley, from cooler sites in the Yarra Valley. Crunchy red fruits, red cherries, pomegranate, even some dry strawberry. A little bit of floral. It shows a little bit of stalkiness, which is probably not surprising considering there's a little bit of whole bunch component in there. But it's very inviting. It's very exuberant in the nose. Let's taste. Lithe, light, soft, intense, very excited on the palate. Full of personality, full of flavour, lots of lovely fruit, very juicy fruit, but still focused and tight. Good tannins, very subtle savoury character right on the back. A little bit herbal, even a little bit of spice, which is very interesting. Focused. It's a lovely expression of Pinot Noir. It's got some nice tightness to it, but it's not too aggressive in terms of tannin. It's very drinkable Pinot Noir, but also very interesting Pinot Noir. So kudos for the Simon Yarra Pinot Noir, Adrian. I'm happy with it. So the second one I have to taste here is a Nero d'Avola, and that actually kind of calls back to Adrian's, I guess, ethnic background. He is of Italian extraction, which is possibly part of the reason why his family ended up in Griffith. A lot of Italian families were living in country Victoria, New South Wales, growing grapes, that kind of thing. And so when he worked vintage in Italy some years ago, he actually was working with some Nero d'Avola. So I think he was excited to work with some Nero d'Avola here in Australia. This one actually, the grapes were grown in the Chalmers Vineyard in Heathcote, Victoria. Chalmers, Tennille and Kim were actually guests of the podcast as well. I highly recommend listening to that episode. And so, again, this is a 2014 wine. Nero d'Avola, of course, is is indigenous to the Sicily. Probably the most planted variety on Sicily. Let's have a look at the Santolin Nero d'Avola. Very dark in colour. It's purpley black, absolutely. Nero d'Avola, you typically see quite a bit of colour. Dark fruits, purple fruits, plum, blood plum in particular, some cassis as well. Nero d'Avola is sort of, for me, has some characters similar to Merlot. Definitely fuller than the Pinot Noir. Probably not surprising. Very generous. Very dark and explosive in the mouth. Lots of generosity. But very soft tannins. Not like simple. They do have a bit of drive to them. But they're very approachable tannins. In my opinion, this is the kind of wine that an Australian palate really appreciates, and that's why I love seeing more Nero d'Avola here in Australia, particularly in the sort of warm climates like Heathcote. This one is an excellent example. I'm very happy with that. It's still very food friendly, but you can have it on its own and you won't be disappointed. So, two excellent red wines. I think this is only the third vintage for Adrian and his wines under the Santolin label. So I'm really excited to see how he evolves as a winemaker and how the quality of his wines improve vintage on vintage. So thank you very much, Adrian, of course, for being a guest on the Vincast. Have a listen to that episode. Thank you for these bottles. The wines are excellent. Seek them out, guys. They are, of course, in very small volumes. So find out on the Santolin website or via social media how you can get access to them. But both wonderful and honest expressions. Very Australian, but part of the new wave. Very exciting. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you did enjoy this this little video tasting, please leave me a like and a comment. Subscribe to the Intrepid Wino channel on YouTube. Stay tuned for many more Let's Taste videos just like this one. And make sure you subscribe to the Vincast. But until next time, cheers.